Hey, welcome to YogaGarden at Jeda Villa in Bali. I was on my motorcycle all day today, doing a tour over this area of the island, and I just want to, instead of sitting, I just want to stretch out my hamstrings and my quads and my glutes. So I'm just going to do a short cycle of yin yoga poses. And you can just join me if you want to. I realized that I'm sitting like in front of the garden, so I might be a little bit dark, and you might just put your volume on a little bit because I'm filming this with my iPhone. So we're going to start with an asymmetrical hamstring stretch. If you want to sit a little bit higher, you can use a blanket or anything else, a block maybe. And if you need a bolster or a pillow, just grab whatever you need. I have my timer here so we know how long we are in a pose, and we're going to do it like each pose 3 minutes, and then we're going to do like a slow transition to the other side. So we're not going to sit, we're not going to do rebounds. So we're going to do an asymmetrical hamstring stretch. You can come into a half butterfly like this, or you can come into a half shoelace like this, or you can just join me in my half frog. Like you can have a narrow frog or a really wide frog like me. And we're just gonna sit here for 3 minutes and relax. So you just relax your body in the pose. And then knowing that there is no alignment in yin yoga. So you just sit here, finding your target area, and the target area is the left hamstring group. So somewhere in this left hamstring group, you will feel the stretch. You might feel it more in the gluteal area, where the hamstrings start, or you might feel it more in the belly of the muscles, like somewhere in the middle, or you might feel it more in the direction of your knee. It doesn't really matter where you feel it, as long as you feel the stretch in that target area. So if you're not really stretchy, not really bendy like me, you might feel a very nice stretch in your back as well. So we're just going to sit here in silence for another 1.5 minutes. There's the bell, very slowly coming out of your pose, and then, like in slow motion, you're going into the other side. So now it's the right hamstring group that you want to stretch. It's either a half butterfly, a half shoelace, or a half frog, like me. Another 3 minutes on the other side. So maybe in the beginning you take a little bit time to find your target area, so the right hamstrings, somewhere along the back of the thigh, more in the direction of the knee, more in the middle, or more in the gluteal area. You can find a really nice stretch in the back as well, maybe in the neck area because you relax your head, and you probably want to keep your eyes closed. That might just bring you more inwards. When you're not really bending, you might just grab a prop like a bolster, and you can just lean on your bolster if you need to, as long as you feel your hamstring. Or you can use the bolster in front of you and just relax over there. Anything to relax your body, but you still want to feel that hamstring groove. So it's basically not the muscle that we're stretching. At one point we want to relax and then go into the deeper tissues of the body. The tissues we call fascia, or connective tissue. Tendons and ligaments. And you just relax. There's the bell again. Slowly coming out of your pose. Just take your time. So the next pose we're going to do is a quadricep stretch, and you have an option. The quadriceps, we start with the left side quadriceps, the front of the left thigh. So an option is a dragon variation, and you might just want to use a blanket here to lean your knee on. So you can just place your knee on the blanket, right foot in front, and you can just stay here, leaning here. So you want to feel the stretch somewhere on the front of the left quadriceps. You can just stay here doing any variation, like bringing the forearms down to the earth, as long as you feel the stretch in the quadricep area. So it doesn't really matter what you do in this pose, as long as you feel the stretch there. Another variation that I'm going to use is called a half saddle pose. And again, I'm going to use my blanket actually to lean my whole leg on. And I'm going to use the bolster behind me. I'm going to place the bolster behind my hips, and I'm just going to relax over it backwards. And again, like you might know this pose from your young yoga, and then your teacher might say that you need to bring your knees together. In yin yoga, it's not like that. You can actually bring your knee far out as long as you feel the stretch on the front of the left quadriceps. So you just relax into the pose for another 3 minutes. Feel a very nice stretch, basically in the middle of my quads on the left side. So it's right in the belly of the muscle area. So I just said, like in yin yoga we do it like this, but even in yang yoga we do it like this. Like we all have a different body, we all have different bones, different skeleton, and therefore we all need to move different. Like if one person will have the knees together in a pose like this in yin or in yang yoga, and then finding that stretch there, the other person might not be able to do it because of compression, because of the bulb of the femur that's going into the acetabulum, into the hole of the pelvis. And that might just create compression. So everybody needs to find their own pose, basically, in any kind of yoga that you're doing. Maybe after a while, using a bolster or any kind of prop, you might feel that the stretch might go away a little bit. And then sometimes you just want to adjust yourself. So in this case, I take the bolster away and I'm going to lay on the floor. Now you can see that my knee is coming up. I don't feel anything as in pain in my left knee. I only feel the stretch in my left quadriceps. So I'm just going to lay here. It's perfectly safe and perfectly good for my body. As long as you don't feel any kind of pain, and then pain, like if you have to describe it, what kind of pain could you feel? But as long as you think it feels good, then you can just stay into pose. There's the bell. And now we're slowly, like in slow motion, coming out of this pose and then coming into the other side of the stretch. So now it's the right quadriceps that we want to stretch. So just take your time coming out of the pose and then coming into the other side of the stretch. And then feel if that is exactly the same stretch as you just felt on the other side. So sometimes it might just feel a little different, and sometimes you might just come into a different pose. As you can see, I don't use the bolster on the right side because I know I don't need it, and you can see that my right knee is coming up a little bit more than the left knee. Perfectly okay. I feel a very deep stretch, a little bit higher on this side than on the other side. So on the left side I feel it more in the belly of the muscle, so right in the middle of my thigh, and now I feel it a little bit higher, right on the top of my thigh. So I just lay here and relax. You can actually put on music if you want to. So I have all the windows of the studio open. I hear crickets. I hear chickens. I just heard a rooster and a dog. And I hear the beat of music from somewhere in the village, the neighbors. I know they're having disputes, ceremony at home, like every Balinese family has every 15 days a ceremony in either in their house temple or in their village temple. It could be a smaller ceremony, it could be a larger ceremony. So in this case, like I know that they are doing this for the whole day already. They started this morning somewhere at 7:30 and now it's almost 6 o'clock in the evening and they're still continuing. They're probably going on somewhere till 10 or 11 at night. I know that at 11 p.m. all the music has to shut down. So that's probably when they end. But then again, it's just music, it's a beat. I can just relax on that. There's the bell. And now in slow motion again, we're coming out. Just take your time coming out of the pose. And now we're going to stretch the glutes. We're going to start on the left side. So there's different poses that you can do. So one of the poses that you could do is square pose. Then you're going to sit basically in a square. So I have my right foot in front and my left foot in front of my right leg. And then I can just relax to the front like this, finding the stretch somewhere on the left gluteal area. Or I can come into sleeping swan, or you might know that as pigeon pose. So you have your left knee in front and your right leg back, and you can just relax your body on the earth, or you can use your bolster like this and relax your body on there. So what you want to find is stretch on the left glutes. And if you have a knee injury and you cannot do this, you might just come to the eye of the needle pose. Then you place your left ankle on top of your right thigh, and you can interlace your fingers either behind the thigh or in front of the right shin, and relaxing your body here. So what you want to find is stretch on the left glutes, and I'm going to sit in square pose. So the first pose that I was showing you. Square pose, and then again I put on my timer on 3 minutes. So it's not only that you might feel it in the gluteal area, you might feel it on the outside of the left thigh as well, because the glutes maximus are continuing in the IT band that is situated on the outside of your thigh. So you might feel a stretch there as well. And as you sit like me into square pose, I feel a really nice stretch in my back again. That's the benefits of this pose. So I feel a stretch in my left glutes. I feel it a little bit on the right side as well, and in my back. So I'm leaning, it looks like I'm leaning on my forearms, but that's actually not true. Sometimes you see people that are really leaning on the forearms and then not feeling the stretch. So if this is your stretch, but bending forward is too much, again, you can use a bolster or a little bit higher with a blanket and relax on there. As long as you feel any kind of stretch, in this case the left side. So what is a stretch? Some people think that they need to feel a lot of stretch, and some people just find or feel a very mild stretch. It doesn't really matter as long as you feel something happening in that target area that you're looking for. So it doesn't really matter what you feel, how much stretch, as long as you feel stretch. And there again is the bell. And in a slow transition, almost in slow motion, you're coming into the same stretch on the other side. So this is the last pose that we're doing. Another 3 minutes. So I just bring my right leg in front of my left leg, coming into my square pose. But you can come into your sleeping swan or pigeon pose, or eye of the needle on the other side as well. So just enjoy your pose. hand heel pose. So now we're going to take a long rebound or a shorter rebound, it doesn't really matter. Like I would suggest that you're coming into either Savasana or what we call pentacle. And pentacle is basically a Savasana with your legs and your arms really wide. So it's a very nice pose for your chi to flowing freely through the body. That's what you find. That's what you're going to find, a pose in where your body can relax and where your chi can flow freely through the body. So just take as long time as you need, maybe just a minute, maybe a couple of minutes, maybe a little longer, maybe you even fall asleep, doesn't really matter. Just enjoy your time here, and thank you for watching.